Welcome one, welcome all. It is the Eagles and the Cowboys. We get a great game tonight, one that should be a lot of fun to watch, and hopefully as fun as Travis Kelce is, despite it being offside and taken back. That just sucks. We're trying to watch some magic, and the refs just take it away from us. But I am joined by the best of the best. I get Glock, and I am joined by some would say the best of the best, not me, but Kurt. He is joined with me, a EuroLeague god, a guy who's just been smashing the props. Unreal run in the bets chat for you. And obviously JBC, I saw when I just first looked at the early picks, I saw they were like 2-0 or 3-0 at one point. It's a shame that Herbert got hurt, but it's been a good day of the bets. And we'll give a free pick away once we get to 69 likes. And the free pick for tonight, I should say. But yes, I'll go ahead and bring you in. Kurt, how are you doing today, man?
Pretty good. It's a great day. Everyone won a lot of money. NFL DFS is extremely profitable sport. It was fun. It was fun to watch. Good, entertaining day. The football was awesome. We had like one good game. Fun. Everyone's doing great, and we're gonna keep on chugging along, winning all this money.
Yeah. Clearly didn't play Deebo Samuel. Kurt is. Let's go ahead and kick it to Glock. Glock, you and I both rushed to the TVs to see Travis Kelce lateral that ball, only to find out there was a flag. But other than that, how was your day, man? Did you have much Jake Browning at all?
I did, but that still didn't help. So, just following off of Kurt's, non-sarcastic comments about NFL Classic main slate, just had another great day, great week in the classic streets. But here we are again on Sunday night football showdown, ready to bring these winners. I kind of feel like today the chat might be taking their anger out on us. I don't see a lot of very happy people in the chat. I don't think a lot of people had a good day, it seems. So take it easy on us, guys. And yeah, this is what Showdown's for, right? We're gonna make it all back right now, and we have a super interesting slate, especially with the teams that I'm seeing right now. So look forward to breaking it down with you guys.
Yes, a star-driven slate. We get the Philadelphia Eagles, who have been susceptible to the passing game of opponents. And we've seen Sam Howell look like an absolute god against them. We've seen actually put up a stout defense against Patrick Mahomes. But then again, who hasn't? I mean, the Chiefs' offense has been pretty mid for the most part. But other than that, I mean, this Eagles team is a pass funnel, and we enjoy pass funnels for these games. We've been targeting the Eagles on main slates. We saw the Bills do really well. I think just overall, I like the way the slate sets up. However, there's a lot of builds tonight that are going to be stars and scrubs, and they look very, very tough on paper. We're going to go ahead and break it down position by position, and we'll go ahead and give our favorite captain plays and much more. But we're going to start at the top, the head of the snake, and that is the quarterback position. I don't know about you guys, but I think double quarterback has to be done tonight for me. I just look at these two guys. Dak Prescott is the leading front runner for MVP. He's just a stud in all facets. And then you got the tush-push merchant, Jalen Hurts. Whenever they get inside the 2-yard line, he's getting 6 points. There's no merit in debating him, but maybe you guys have a different opinion. Kurt, I'll kick it to you first in the quarterback spot. What are you doing with the two, and are you captaining either one?
Yeah, I agree. I think you definitely captain both. Like, even though Jalen's not looked right the last couple of weeks, I think I prefer captaining Dak because I think he'll spread it around. We all know how Philadelphia has become like a pass funnel. So even though obviously Jalen Hurts has the tush push, I think I prefer Dak captain. I'm with you. I think you just have to play both. Like, even a banged up, not looking completely like himself, Hurts is still going to give you like that 20-point floor. I mean, even in a tough matchup, divisional game, like, he's going to lay it all out there. The guy's a competitor. He's going to go out there and get you 20. Tush push is still around for the time being. Sure, he's going to find at least one of those things in the end zone. So, yeah, I'm with the two quarterback, and we're going to have to find maybe not one, but maybe just rotate some of these cheap guys and just hope that something sticks to a wall.
Yeah, I mean, that cheap option will certainly arise. I mean, you're going to have a lot of guys who project for under a point hit your teams, especially if you're in Saber Sim and stuff, and that's not great. But Glock, especially if we're captaining a guy like Lamb or one of these quarterbacks, that almost has to be done. Like, even 2K and below, does that put you off double quarterback, or are you just sticking with it like we are?
I think you have to stick with it because, just points will be had most likely in this game. I'm kind of excited to break down, an exciting matchup rather than like something like the lame ones that we've been getting recently. But I don't know. It's interesting because, like, if you would have asked, like, if we would have had this matchup like 5-6 weeks ago where Dak wasn't like extremely hot and the Eagles look like themselves, I don't know what just happened with with the thing, but
What
okay. But yeah, okay. So
that's not bad. That's not bad, bro. I picked the wrong button.
you're good. You're good. Yeah. So basically, if you were to ask me, like, 5 to 6 weeks ago when Dak wasn't as hot as he was, and the Eagles were actually looking like, the Eagles of last year, I would have been thinking to you, like, maybe we do like Philadelphia onslaughts this game. But it's a way different landscape. Dak looks like one of the hottest QBs in the league, has been passing at an extremely high rate. And the Eagles are just coming off of that embarrassing loss against the Niners last week. So you kind of have like a tale of two teams right now, where one's hot and then the other one is, are they going to be able to bounce back? And just in a matchup like this, I'm going to expect points to be had. So I'm going to definitely have both exposure to both quarterbacks. Obviously, Jalen Hurts, can't go wrong with him. Obviously, safe floor as well with the tush push stuff. So like him, and then you have to love Dak. I think if I were to pick just one, I would side with Dak, just due to the fact of form, basically, and how well he's looked as of late. Cowboys are obviously at home as well too, so they got a lot of things cooking in their favor, while there's a lot of uncertainty from the Philadelphia side from last week. Obviously, I still think Philadelphia is a good team, but if I were to just pick one quarterback to just put into my lineup, I would pick Dak, and my core reflects that. But I do like the two quarterback builds, and obviously we'll get into the value later, which from a projection standpoint, it's really interesting. Like, well, we'll touch on it later, but yeah, basically I like both quarterbacks here. But I think that's going to be a contrarian take, or not a contrarian take, basically. I think most people are going to try to play both quarterbacks and then just like clench their cheeks when they're clicking on the value that we'll talk about later. But yeah, like both quarterbacks for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great slate for double quarterback. It is worth mentioning, though, even with the Seahawks and Cowboys absolutely shooting out 10 days ago on Showdown, we saw Dak Prescott not make the optimal team, I believe. That was with an impressive score. So it certainly can be done. You didn't want to do it in like single entry or whatever, but it can be done that both quarterbacks are not optimal in a very high scoring game. However, I don't like going that route too much. I just think that Jalen Hurts is just so prone to that rushing touchdown ability, right? Whenever they get inside the 2, it's 6 points for him and nobody else. And that's where guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and DeAndre Swift even get hurt by that. And it's tough to justify, like, oh, man, I want to play A.J. Brown without Hurts and stuff, or I want to play, just Dak in general without Lamb. It becomes tougher for me. And I think especially in like single entry and 3-entry max, like both quarterbacks will be the staple. And that'll be a thing that we have to look for. I think captain-wise, I do think I was debating on Dak and the captain, but this MVP run, they want to push his stats up. I like the Cowboys. I'm not going to hate on the Cowboys at all, despite wearing some Philly green right now. But they are definitely going to, kind of stat pad him a little bit when they get the chance, whether it's a rushing touchdown inside the 1 or something. I can just see it happening. And I'm going to keep both in the captain here. We also have a bets update. JBC went 9-2 on the NFL bets today overall. Just an impressive performance. I know one of the only ones he lost was the Chargers one, but 9-2 is incredibly impressive. That's after 11-0 last week. So 11-0 last week, 9-2 this week. I hope K-Fallick was round robining him again, because that could mean another big score for him. And we already have over 69 likes too. So just to give you guys what the red hot JDC has done on the bet side, he has done not even just the bet side. He's also shipped 100K or whatever in the last week in NBA. He is on Dallas Cowboys -3. So Dallas Cowboys -3 is his pick. I'm sorry, Philadelphia fans. I try and stay neutral as possible. But we are a Dallas fan base tonight, or at least I am. I don't know if Glock or Kurt will attest to that. But we'll go ahead and move on to the running back position here. We get a shaky running back position because both of these spots are very, very tough for running backs. When you look at DeAndre Swift, you've seen a little bit of drop-off in performance the last 2 weeks. Very tough matchups. I mean, the San Francisco matchup is very tough to judge someone on, but the touches were more concerning than the actual performance. You look at Tony Pollard. He did okay last game against the Seahawks. However, it was still a pass-dominant script where he kind of gets a little bit forgotten about. Is 19 good enough for 8K? Probably is, but it's still gross unless he's getting these touchdowns. Glock, I'll start with you on the running back position here. You get a gross position, but they are cheap. I mean, Pollard's only 8K. You got Swift, who's 7.4K. And I haven't even mentioned Gainwell or Dowdle, who I don't know if they're in the mix too much, but what do you think about the running back position tonight?
Yeah, I'm more so on the passing game for sure tonight. When it comes to my captain exposure, I won't have anyone in the RB position in my captains personally. Obviously, I'm only playing 10 lineups, so I can't play everyone. So I'll be taking a stand here at running back. and just playing them on my flex. If I were to pick my favorite, I would say it's obviously Tony Pollard. Obviously, it's a tough matchup, but at these tags where Tony Pollard and DeAndre Swift are, it's like, will a touchdown like even get there? I would call them like touchdown or bust, like in the price range, but I think they need to do a little more than that. Obviously, we think points are going to be had in this matchup, so if maybe Pollard gets in the end zone and then gets like 50 to 70 yards, maybe that's enough. Same with Swift on the opposite side, but I'm not going to go too crazy on them. I'm going to prioritize the pass catchers for sure. And then when it comes to Gainwell, Dowdle, Boston Scott, they're kind of priced at a point where the kind of builds that I'm looking at tonight, they just don't really fit. Like, they're just a little too expensive. If you're going studs and duds, like you can't really play these guys. So I won't have any Kenneth Gainwell, Rico Dowdle, or Boston Scott personally. And yeah, just taking my stand on Pollard and Swift, and then just not playing any of the cheapies from the running back position.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially in a Philly backfield that's kind of gross right now, right? Kenneth Gainwell kind of meddles a lot more than you'd really want. However, we have seen that primetime Swift is something that has actually been a theme a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it has, right? Like, it seems to nuke on primetime. He nuked against the Vikings a few weeks ago against the Chiefs. He did really well. Kurt, are you buying into the primetime narrative on DeAndre Swift?
I mean, if it's a little cheaper, yeah. It's like a 50-50 split last week. Gainwell had more snaps last week, and now I got to pay 8K. Like, now I got to play 7.4 against a good run defense on the road. And now, like, Boston Scott's even mixing in some more too. I don't. After what we saw last week, I just don't know. I mean, if you do, you got balls of steel, and if you get rewarded with 2 touchdowns, congrats to you. But I would love to be contrarian and say like one of these running backs. But if I had to pick one, give me Pollard. Maybe he does some stuff through the air. But I'm not doing it. I just don't see the path. I
do think it's game script dependent, right? Like, they were trailing for most of that Niners game, and
like I knew, like, I even accounted for that, but like even early on he was involved, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, you're telling me Swift's not can't catch the ball just as good as Gainwell too? Like, even in that case, like, yeah. I do agree. It could have, but I could see them, even if it's like they were up like 20, I could see them all. Let's put in Gainwell. I don't know, man. It's Philly's backfield, and like, you're not getting a discount on it. I still think it'll be like 65-35.
Exactly. Yeah, in a neutral game script, I think that's what it would be. Yeah. And then if it's, if Cowboys go up like two touchdowns and a field goal, like, then it probably becomes 40-60, like, in favor of Gainwell, just because, which I agree with you. Like, I think Swift is just as talented, or if not more, catching out of the backfield. Yeah. I just don't know why some of these coaches love like running back by committees. Like, obviously as a TFS player, you love those workhorses and, 4 down backs. They're out there doing everything. But that's just not the case with a lot of teams. So you just kind of have to factor that in when you're talking DFS.
Yeah, absolutely. Kenneth Gainwell was someone who benefited from just getting dominated by the 49ers, right? The Eagles had to throw a lot in the second half. It wasn't really Swift's script. However, it's still concerning, like you said, Kurt. Like, it's still closer to a 50-50 split. You still have the threat of Jalen Hurts stealing touchdowns around the goal line. And ultimately, it just isn't a comfortable play. However, when we talk about wide receivers, you're going to see why maybe moving to the mid-range on these running backs could be the move. I'm not a huge Pollard guy tonight, but he has been involved in the passing game a lot. 4 to 5 catches, not out of the question by any means at all. However, Swift, you can't really say the same about that floor being there through the passing game, because Kenneth Gainwell is there to kind of steal those snaps, steal that passing load. And it's just, it's an uncomfortable one because neither spot is great. You want to stack the Cowboys passing attack, fluke into a touchdown. It is something to debate there. However, let's move on to wide receiver. But first, I have to bring in a legend, maybe not a legend, but someone who steals plays of the day and, has a good time doing that. And that is the one and only Big T. Big T, how are you doing today?
Steals plays. What do I do?
Steal play of the days, man. I had a play of the day, so you guys just take them from me. But
who did I steal?
Oh, actually, I shouldn't say that because it was Rui Hachimura.
Yeah, how'd that work? I should have let you have Rui.
Had way too much.
God, that was not expected. I will say that. I thought for sure he was going to get some run, but yeah, it was listening to you guys talk, and I'm excited for this game. I've been waiting for this game since the last time they played, when Dallas got stuck at the inch line for two times at the end of that game. And the two fraud teams to me have been Kansas City and Philly. We're going to see fraud number 2 surface tonight. So I am excited for that.
Thanks for pissing off at least 200 viewers who are diehard Eagles fans, Big T.
Only 2 of 744? It's only gets that breakdown? Dallas is that overwhelming?
I will say this: you're gonna have a lot of people just turning off the stream once we give Dallas some love. It's just that heated of a rivalry, but it's going to be a good time. We got wide receivers to get to, and I know you're gonna love the wide receivers. You have the flow chart available on your Twitter and also on the site too. The flow chart.
That's the one staple each week too. Affiliate against receivers has been the staple of everything since the flow chart originated and midway through. It's definitely the best spot in football. They can't stop receivers, and I don't see why they would stop them tonight when Dallas has been an unstoppable force.
Yeah, people were calling you a Dallas homer. Look, we just lost 40 viewers because of the Eagles fans. They all left. But people were calling you a Dallas homer.
Philly isn't good. I bet on Philly in the Super Bowl last year. I bet on Philly plenty. They're just not good. They're overrated. They're why do people think they're good?
Well, because the tush push exists and they can get 2 yards.
They are good at the tush push.
Let's move on to wide receivers. Glock, I'll kick it to you first here. CeeDee Lamb is my top captain. I think this matchup is too dreamy. You get just an absolute
dreamy. I like that word. It's too dreamy.
Dreamy and creamy. You know how it is.
Dreamy and creamy?
Wow,
the dreamy and creamy play of the day.
Play of the day. CeeDee Lamb, 32 fantasy points last time against the Philadelphia Eagles. Absolutely crushed the secondary. Another player, we can go ahead and lump in all the pass catchers. Let's not split up wide receivers and tight ends because Jake Ferguson also tore up this defense last time out in week 9. Did really well, 7 catches and a touchdown. Didn't even get to like Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, Kevontae Turpin, guys who, can catch a deep target from Dak Prescott. You also have the Eagles side of the ball. You get, A.J. Brown, a little bit expensive. You get Devontae Smith, 8,400. But the biggest prize is Dallas Goedert, 5,400 in his return from IR. Glock, what are you doing with the pass catchers on both sides here?
Yeah, like I said, lower on the running game and higher on the passing game for sure. I think I'll be right with you where CD is going to be my highest exposed captain as well. I just think he's way above everyone else, especially if you think Dallas wins this game. He's going to have a big part in it. So CeeDee Lamb, definitely my top receiving option. And then, if I just look at projection, I have a 7-point projection gap between CD and AJ Brown. Maybe that's too wide, but that's just a stand I'm going to take. And then from AJ Brown to Devontae, I have a 5-point gap. So I prefer AJ over Devontae, even with, the price that AJ Brown is, if I had a choice. Brandon Cooks, I just won't get there myself in my 10. He's just at a weird price range for me. But Jalen Tolbert and then Kevontae Turpin.
You better get Cooks back in there. Cooks is the exact type of guy that torches these teams.
Did he have no, he had a big game on Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, he might not have last time. I'm just saying, the way he fast guys that can go across the field and stuff, or who Philly, they're so slow. Their secondary is like Kurt out there. Bunch of slow dudes in the secondary.
I'm the fastest one at RPS, you clown. Literally the fastest one here.
Have we proven that?
No.
We need you. No one to try me. Someone try me.
I have Kurt's back with that because I was kind of chirping a little, and Rubio just buckled to Kurt. Rubio wanted no smoke.
My hamstring was off last
My hamstring was off.
My pussy hurt.
I don't even remember which leg it was on my hamstring, but it was definitely hurt. I did pull it in the soccer game.
But yeah,
go on, Glock.
Yeah. Just I'll bump up Cooks just for Big T and see what happens. But as of right now, my current run, I don't have much. But I do have some of the cheaper guys like Jalen Tolbert and Kevontae Turpin, and that's just the nature of the slate, right? If you're trying to get both of these quarterbacks, which I don't know if everyone's trying to do, I'm curious on Big T's take. But if you're trying to get both quarterbacks, CD and another stud, let's say whether it be AJ Brown or Devontae Smith, you're going to have to take some value at this pass catcher position. Jalen Tolbert offers that at 2.8K, Kevontae Turpin at 1.6K. And then what's interesting, Rubio said we're just going to club it all together, even with the tight ends. I have the top 4 guys projected, CD, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, AJ Brown, all projected in the 20s, right? And in my top teams, like I'm still getting like a Peyton Hendershot at 200 is popping at a 1 point projection for me in some of my top builds, which, you're telling me like I just need one catch from this guy that's min price. And he's optimal if, the top 4 big dogs get 20 plus. Those are the type of values that I'll be sprinkling in. Even like, it just depends like what cheapie you're going to project at 1, right? Whether it be Peyton Hendershot, Jack Stoles, 200, Luke Schoonmaker is also popping as well at 1.2K. So I'm going to mix and match these guys for sure. And I apologize if I said his name wrong. I know we get chastised sometimes for saying the names wrong on this show, but yeah, it's an interesting slate because it's like those 2v2s, right? It's like AJ Brown versus the $200 guy versus, let's say, like Dowdle and Devontae or something like that. I think a lot of people hand building are going to take the more comfortable route, going Devontae Smith and then that 2K, 3K guy, just because they know for a fact that 2 or 3K guy is going to be at least on the field a little bit and get some fantasy points. But that, AJ Brown plus the min punt is interesting because on some of my top teams, that's what I'm getting right now as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Even if you have guys projected for less than a point, they are hitting the optimal team. A lot of that has to do with AJ Brown and the ability to fit these 4 studs, not to give away a whole build, but I mean, that's just the reality of it. If you're high on AJ Brown, you're likely high on Lamb. I mean, it's probably one of the best spots you can possibly have. And you're high on both quarterbacks. Well, it naturally leads to a 200 guy. And Kurt, we have a specific 200 guy that we've been ride or die for the last 2 years. Even in college at Indiana, Peyton Hendershot, he's 200. He's coming back from the IR. Not to go just completely in depth on these 200 plays because they are very, very atrocious. Like they might not see the field. Hendershot is probably tight end number 3 behind Schoonmaker. But it is something to have a talking point because it is Showdown. Anything can happen. But 1 point, you could find yourself like, oh, man, I have a really good team. I get 4 studs. I don't have to fiddle with the mid-range. And then also just talk about the pass catchers in general. Kurt, what's your plan with them? I see you have Michael Gallup in your core, huh?
I can't stop, bro. The guy every week, he just drops every ball right to him. And I can't stop. It's a problem. It's really him or Tolbert. It's interchangeable for me, as are a lot of these sheepies like Stoll, Hendershot. I think they're both interchangeable. That's the build that I'm going. And then I just got to hope that I kind of have the right puzzle pieces with like Stoll with Tolbert, Stoll with, you know what I'm saying? So something like that. Not like you said, just 1 point can make the difference in the 200. The person who gets 1 point from their like 200 guy can make literally a big difference. So I'll be going there. I kind of want to be under on Devontae Smith and rather over on Cooks, like Big T said, just because I want to attack the weaker secondary. So one way to be unique is like maybe you do have enough for Smith and you just go down and play Cooks and kind of leave a little bit on the table there. I feel like that would have you unique in some large field stuff if you're only entering 1. Could be fun to do there. I don't know if I'm not coming to that range at all in the 7K range. So I think it'll make you even more unique. And like Big T says, it's just a pass funnel. I want to be over on all these Dallas receivers, and it's going to naturally lead me to more 4-2s, which is perfectly fine with me. Because I mean, it's going to be Hurts and one other guy. Like maybe not even that. It might just be Hurts. So when has it been? Which I'm gonna jinx it now. It's going to be like a 4-2 Eagles. But when has it truly been in the history? When's it been like Eagles and like 3 other guys? It's not too often. It's usually Hurts and then one other guy.
Yeah, because he vultures everything with the tush push. Yeah,
exactly.
So one of the great things about Run Pure Sports, other than the bets that are on fire and all the content or whatever, but AP has a past optimal sheet on the Showdown page, which basically shows each team's past optimals. And you can notice a theme for the Philadelphia Eagles, like you said, Kurt. It's not a lot of 5-1s or anything like that for the Eagles side, despite being a pretty dominant team in terms of just their record. We've only had 2 5-1s in their favor. It was against the Bucks and the Rams. Other than that, it's been a lot of 2 4s and 3 3s in that mix. And that makes a lot of sense because their target tree is so narrow. You know who the ball is going to get to. You're not going to have more than 3 guys probably produce. It basically is up to the defense and kicker, which we'll get to them later. But I need to get Big T's takes on these wide receivers and tight ends. And other than the Dallas side, we all know he's gonna blow CeeDee Lamb. He's gonna be really excited for them. And he's right. He's right. He's gonna be a good man. He's gonna do that stuff. But I need to get his take specifically on AJ Brown tonight because he could be the forgotten stud in a good or a bad way. But I need to hear it.
Yeah, I like AJ. I like Devontae Smith. I like the receivers. I mean, Philly's going to score points. I don't think they're like going to get shut out, but I don't think they're going to be able to slow Dallas down. So I like the receivers. I don't love anyone else though. I kind of like what you guys are saying, where it's Hurts plus one of the receivers, and I don't like. I'm about to put my player pool up right now. The numbers are. I'm running it right now on Sabre, but I don't have. I eliminated a ton of Philly guys, like all those cheap guys. I basically just have their good guys in my player pool, and I bumped all the Dallas guys. But the Dallas, I think the slate's easy. These Dallas receivers are what's going to win this slate. I don't know for sure. I mean, CD's the obvious one that everyone knows, so that's not going to like get you separate. I think Cooks is my favorite play. That's why I was trying to talk Locke into it. I think he is just everything I want when I'm going against this secondary. And I don't think he's going to get that much ownership, honestly. So I just because of that price point, everyone wants the studs up there. I'm hoping this is what I'm hoping, and it's while I'm running Sabre Sam. I'm hoping my optimal captain is Cooks as it comes up. It's running because I did bump him pretty good. I hope he comes up that way, because if he doesn't, then I'm going to be disappointed. But I don't even know what the build will be. I still haven't fully built. I just want my numbers are all where I want them. And I'm hoping I get Cooks. But I like the cheaper guys too, if it does push me that way. Tolbert, Gallup even, Turpin even, Schoonmaker. I like the receivers more than the tight ends, but just the cheap guys in there. And, I mean, I do want Hurts and a receiver, so it's a tough pricing where I want both quarterbacks. So you got to give somewhere. And where's it going to be? I don't know. That's why some of the builds that these guys were talking about were zero – ends up getting in there, or not a big projection from a cheapie. The problem is it doesn't actually happen often. Once you get to the end, basketball it does. Football, usually someone gets there or some mid-tier guy crushes. It's tough to win with like a 2 in a game like this. I mean, so I know I've argued in the past with Rubio about this because I just don't like the 200s as much as other people, unless they have an actual projection. But guys like Ferguson, or not Ferguson, what Hendershot, because it used to be Ferguson and Hendershot when we.
No, it was Hendershot last year. I was wrong on the one slate that would have won it all. I went out the bar. I got pissed. JSU played Ferguson. I played fucking Hendershot, and Ferguson went off.
I just don't think like a guy like that's the play. But I get it for the build. I just have a hard time seeing that being the winner at the end, unless somehow they score a touchdown, which, I mean, I just don't see it happening. So I want to be more in the mid-tier, probably. Again, SaberSim this time of day always runs a little slow, so it's grinding its way to the 5,000 sibs or whatever it is, but we'll see here shortly.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys bring up a great point just overall and stuff, but I think the main talking point too is if you want to get a little bit different, if you want to avoid this range, it probably means stacking a mid-tier guy, or not stacking a mid-tier guy, putting a mid-tier guy in the captain. Like if you put Goddard in the captain, you get some good looks, right? If you put Jake Ferguson in the captain, and it is worth mentioning, Ferguson did really well in this matchup against Philly last time. He had 7 catches and a touchdown. He does pretty well against man coverage and zone coverages alike. And I don't know. I think he's got something with Dak there. I've obviously been on him since the beginning of the season, but you can create some good builds with one mid-tier captain. However, it still kind of funnels you into the same area where instead of 200 range, you're stuck with a guy like Turpin, who you're praying for a touchdown. He's going to be involved in the offense when he is in the game. However, you're going to get limited opportunities. He only played 13 snaps or 13% of the snaps last week or something like that. It's not a whole lot. He did get 3 targets though. It is definitely one of those like uneasy plays, like Schoonmaker's popping, Quez Watkins is popping despite, being 3 weeks removed from coming back from injury. Played a ton of snaps last week with 64%, but you're not going to get a comfortable range of plays. Like you're not going to get 6 guys you're comfortable on, right? You're going to have 5, and you're going to have one where you're like, I don't really like this dude. You got to hope that he hits. And I think you can get a little bit funky with leaving salary. Like I don't think there's a huge difference in between guys like Jalen Tolbert or Michael Gallup to Turpin even. I think that, obviously Gallup and Tolbert will play a little bit more than Turpin, but I think their upside's the same because I think whoever catches the touchdown is going to score the most. And Turpin has scored 4 touchdowns on the year, and I don't think Tolbert and Gallup have even hit that number yet. So yeah, I think it's worth mentioning. Like, I don't love the 200 route today, Big T. I do like Turpin quite a bit as my favorite punt on the slate at 1,600. But if you're looking for a 200 guy, I'm not going to fault anyone for that. I got 1 point for Hendershot here, and he's hitting a decent amount of teams. And yeah, it's definitely a talking point, but it's not like NBA last night where we were talking, over the past week where rotation tighten and stuff where, you can take a 0. It's not the case in NFL, but definitely the stars and scrubs build, especially if you're trying to get AJ Brown with them, will lead you to that route. Let's go ahead and start talking like an NPC. Goodness gracious, man.
This guy's a savage, AJ. He's on one right now.
Is anyone going to talk about Ferguson? Is anyone going to talk about Ferguson, guys? Can someone talk about Ferguson? Ferguson. Can someone talk about
Rubio's mentioned him. He's a great play. It's just the price range and what type of build construction you're trying to accomplish. And I agree with you guys, man. Like when I first ran these teams, it reminded me of an NBA Showdown slate where it's like, man, I'll never forget like that one Showdown slate where RPS shipped all the money and Big T was like, we're going to take 2 zeros here or they're going to come in and it's going to blow out and, just ship all the money. So it's real interesting to see what the teams are for sure. And I would predict Big T's team is like definitely mid-tier captain. And then
I thought it was, but it just ran right as you're saying it. So it still gives me CD captain. So
wow.
Can I mention one thing?
I don't necessarily love it still though, because in that build I do have a cheapie in there that doesn't have many points, but I think it's just the upside of CD is just so high that it's just forcing it for me. I do like the build though. I like the build besides having to play 1 punt.
Yeah, it's a good build for sure. And it ultimately becomes one of those things where if you're comfortable with 5 dudes who you're comfortable with, right, and have one where you're not, you're going to be fine. I mean, we see it all the time in Showdown where you can take one kind of dud spot, and who knows, 2 to 3 points could be the difference. Let's go ahead and move on to defense and kickers because they are hitting some of my top teams here. Not intentionally or anything, but it goes to show how bad the value is, right? Anyone below the Cowboys defense, 4K and under, is gross. And the Cowboys defense, we have seen it time and time again. We saw it with the Chiefs against the Eagles. The Chiefs defense was optimal, right? It was optimal on Draftkings, I believe, or was it the Eagles defense? I can't remember which one, but we've seen these like heavyweights collide and the defense comes out on top despite not putting up a huge score. They don't even need to score a touchdown. They just need to reach the passer or force some turnovers. Glock, do you have much interest in the Cowboys defense potentially, or any defense in general? And what are you doing with Aubrey and Elliott tonight?
Man, it's hard to get there for me. I know the salaries like 4K for the Cowboys defense kind of entices you somewhat. So if I had to pick one defense, it'd definitely be the Cowboys side. But man, like I said, I just think there's going to be points had. And so I probably will be under on the defenses as a whole this slate. And then just sprinkle in those pass catchers instead of the defenses. And then when it comes to the kickers, if I had to pick one, it'd be Brandon Aubrey as well. But I just think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. And I personally, in my 10, won't have much, if any, exposure to defenses or kickers.
Yeah, it makes sense there. Kurt, what about you? Got any exposure to defense or kickers tonight? And you're tweaking. No.
No, I got to change my context.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any defensive takes, dude. If you've been playing them, cool. If not, don't. I hate the question, honestly. Kickers, I just think the cheap guys can, like, you got to find the right cheap guy, but he's probably going to score. He might put up 7, maybe 8, but I think he can outscore probably one of the kickers, which is what you need with upside for more. And he's cheaper too. So I'm talking like maybe the one like Turpin, Tolbert, a guy like that. You save 2K. I think they can kind of match the kickers. So, but 2 solid kickers. Like I think Aubrey has a freaking boot and Elliott. So I fell in that range. I don't mind clicking them, but I've just rebuilt.
Yeah, love it. And Big T, how much kickers and defenses do you got? I know we have a full tournament player pool page up for you and JVC. So if you guys are interested in the complete breakdown on who Big T is playing, we have it on the site. Giblets 44% off your first payment here at Run Pure Sports. Whether it's a week or a month, you get a great deal there. And Big T is currently posting his exposures. And defense and kickers is one that I'm interested in, Big T.
Glock, what are you doing in my house, bro? Glock, are you in my house?
Someone said Kurt is at a green screen, so I had to change it to Kurt's house.
911. Call the police. Call the police. There's an Asian man in my house.
Asian man in my house. I got 25% Aubrey, 18% Elliott. I didn't play the Eagles defense, and I have 32% Cowboys D. So I have the most Cowboys D actually.
See,
Shout out
I
Brian.
think the Cowboys defense is actually a really good play tonight.
They get touchdowns when they do things, so they got upsides that. And I don't get me wrong, I don't love the Cowboys D tonight. I just think it's a really good sim type play where they try to get touchdowns, man. Like they try to strip the ball, they try to intercept, they try to go to the house when they get it. So I mean, if they can be the cheaper play that gets you 14 somehow, you are going to be very, very unique because I can't imagine defenses are very high owned tonight.
Yeah, 100%.
I just got the call, Rubio. Hold on. I just got the call, and I just wanted to remind everyone that Turpin and Cowboys defense correlate.
Oh God! Now I don't want to play it anymore. I had that in my lineup. Now I don't want to do it anymore.
The little double dipper.
Little double dipper, punt return, double dipper. 6 points times 2 is 12. You like that?
6 times 2 is 12. Nice math, bro.
Shout out SaberSim for the math lesson for that one.
Yes, 100%. Shout out SaberSim for the sims that we have on the site. Let's go ahead and give a core away. Who wants to give a core out? I can give mine out if you guys don't want to, but yeah, fuck it. Let's just give out mine. All right, CeeDee Lamb captain, Dak Prescott, and Dallas Goedert. That's my core today. With Big T, hand in hand with Big T's top captain. So we get CeeDee Lamb to have a huge day. I think he's going to absolutely dominate. And obviously the best team in the world right now is the Dallas Cowboys. So we just keep riding with it. Glock, Kurt, do you guys want to give away your core or not?
I want to mention one thing that maybe not the last time, but one time this year when Dallas was on prime time, the opposing tight end was the optimal. And we don't have to talk about who it was. We don't talk about how the show went down or what happened. But I just wanted to let it know that he might have scored like 8 times. So someone might have said to fade him, actually. Someone on here might have said to not play him.
Are you trolling me? Who are you talking about?
I'm trolling myself, actually.
I didn't hear what you were talking about. What are you talking about?
George Kittle, three catches, 3 touchdowns. George Kittle.
Who? Kittle? Oh, yeah. I didn't hear what you were saying,
Cowboys,
and then you kept saying it, so I thought for sure you were trolling
against
me.
the Cowboys. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is it Dallas Goedert season?
That wasn't against the Cowboys.
You got hurt against the Cowboys.
The Kittle game wasn't against them. That's why you were confusing me.
Who was it against?
It wasn't against them. That wasn't a showdown game.
Yes, it was.
It was.
Oh, it wasn't?
Oh, come on.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
because the
San
Kittle.
Francisco Cowboys.
The Cowboys game wasn't a showdown game. Not the Kittle. The Kittle was the showdown. The Cowboys Niners wasn't a showdown.
100% it was a showdown.
It was?
Cowboys got smashed.
Yeah.
Cowboys got smashed.
Was that correct?
That was a 3-touchdown game on Sunday night.
Thank you. Everyone eat my
Yes.
Yeah, the Niners
We
smashed.
did a show
that night, though. Why did I like Kittle?
You are getting owned by a guy with CTE, bro.
How do you know I don't have CTE?
I don't know. Maybe you do. Do you?
Maybe.
Maybe Glock does.
Oh, yeah. Big football guy here.
I can't
Glock,
remember that.
how's the dad life?
Oh, man. Still trying to figure out the sleeping stuff, but it's going good. Apart from the sleeping.
You figure it
no
out. It's called you don't sleep. That's what
Yeah,
that's when you figure it out.
It's like you have like 2 good days, and then you think you have it in line, and then the next day is completely random, and he's up all night. And yeah, other than sleep, it's all good.
I'm the same exact way with my puppy. Oh man, those are
dogs are so much easier.
That dog's so annoying, bro.
Dogs are so much easier.
Bro. I want to punt that dog across the city.
Did you guys hear that Big T's getting a dog?
I saw a Snapchat of a dog, and I don't think he ever responded back to me. I was like, "Is that yours?" And he never responded back to me.
In Denver.
Okay.
She is putting pressure on about it, though. I'm getting some good pressure about it.
You got to get a dog. I mean, you're 2 weeks away from Christmas Eve. Like, you have to get a dog now.
What's
I need to find a little one I can live with, like a
Pomeranian, bro.
Smaller one.
Pomeranian. Here, I'll
get my. Ew, God, don't get a
Pomeranian. I don't even know what it means.
Crazy, bro.
Don't get a freaking little shit.
You have a Pomeranian, Rubio?
Dog. Yeah. Get a big dog. You're a big dog, Big T. Get a big dog. Don't get a little pussy dog.
I definitely am not getting a big dog, 100%.
I want a little dog. Then it's a waste of time.
The little dogs are
little women and little dogs.
Well, at least they get a cool little dog, like a little bulldog.
Big T's gonna show up to the next show with a chihuahua on his lap, and he's
gonna that's what's gonna happen. Exactly. Yeah, that's
That dog's gonna have its own play of the day and everything too. It's gonna be an awesome one too. I can see it. His name is gonna be like Jokic or some shit. It's gonna just be something that he can just call around the house, just sports related. You get to name the dog. Let's go ahead and get into one other thing I want to talk about here. That is JVC's bets 9-2. We already gave away the free play. It is Dallas Cowboys -3. It's also a -120 pick too. One of those things where, yeah, I think we're all on the Cowboys tonight. I mean, Glock, Kurt, are you guys on the Cowboys to win tonight, or are you guys at the Eagles?
Yeah, I mean, just based on form, I'm hesitantly picking the Cowboys. I mean, that's my showdown teams reflect that. I will say, full disclaimer, it feels like the Cowboys, obviously I live in Dallas. It feels like the Cowboys never show up in big game spots. Like they always fumble the bag against good teams. And so this could be a spot, but obviously my showdown teams are going to reflect differently. So yeah, Cowboys win, baby.
Perfect. Kurt, you on the Cowboys to win tonight?
I just don't think they show up in big games. I hope they do. Like I want it to be the year they do. I mean, just because like I'm so sick of like hearing about it and them always sucking. I gotta see it first. They gotta win a big game.
So give Big T.
So Kurt's on the Eagles onslaughts.
No, I'm still going 4-2. I mean, because the two guys for the Eagles could literally score 4 touchdowns. Like,
yeah, true.
It's awesome. That's the beauty of the Eagles.
You had a teaser today, a big parlay, didn't you? And that's one leg away from hitting.
I mean, when you don't lose any games, you tend to hit bets.
Okay, makes my job so much easier. Thank you, Big T.
I see that you're messaging
all W's.
Yeah, you had Bears money line, Jets money line,
dogs too. Those aren't favorite winners. Those are dog winners.
Yeah. Plus 145. Plus
the points.
You had the Bills. You had the Cowboys tonight too, and you said that you're going to. You're in a good position to even hedge tonight. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's going to be like if the Cowboys win, it's like 30 units or something because although they all hit. So, yeah,
that's real nice.
I don't like and then I confuse the people in chat though because some of the people are like never hedge. I'm a hedger like in my betting. If I'm going to win 30 units tonight and it's guaranteed if the Cowboys win 30 units, I just don't understand why you wouldn't put some on Philly. Like in my head, I don't get that. I know some people disagree with that. Me, the way I bet, if I can win 30 units tonight, I'm always going to bet the Eagles. Because the thing is, I bought a 0.5 point to 3.5. Dallas could win by 1, 2, 3, and I even middle a lot of it. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And the way I've always bet, I always middle or hedge this spot. But it's nice when you hit all the early games.
Yeah, no, I didn't even realize.
And the teasers the teaser games went 4-1 too, so that was a good profit too.
No kidding. I just looked at that. You had Tampa Bay. I didn't even realize that they won today, 29-25 too. They made that comeback late in the game.
That's in the division, baby.
The only loser the whole day was my Colts teaser. The Bengals beat them too. My Bengals beat me 2 straight weeks.
Oh, Browning is legit, man. I tell you, that's good to see.
He's living off that.
Are we sure he's legit or is it the system? Huh?
They got a good roster.
Yeah.
What is that? What's that, Kurt? What's that move?
He's living off he's a UW guy, and UW's in the playoffs.
I didn't realize he was like 2-time player of the year and stuff too.
Yeah, Kurt did that move in Amsterdam when he was in the red light district. I saw him do that. Yeah,
I can picture that actually.
I literally saw him there. Yeah, we went together now. But yes, thank you all for joining us. Hope you guys have a great time. Go Cowboys and fuck the Eagles. And good luck tonight.